Happy morning, children. Welcome to our session. Today we are going to learn a very interesting poem. Okay, there are a lot of similarities between the lockdown and the poem. Okay, how do you feel? So many holidays. How's life at home? Very happy? Or are the parents telling you, please go to school, leave us, don't trouble us? Okay? Feel like running away from home, going and meeting friends. And that is the reason. And as you know, for every English class, we usually write, then we go simultaneously, we'll be doing two things: writing, evaluating oneself, okay, taking down the hints. Yeah. So even though this session is online, I just want you to pause for a while this video and take your classwork note. Yes, put today's date and just write down 5 sentences. How this lockdown helped you, or how this lockdown has enriched you with a very good experience, or not necessary that all good experiences. Ma'am, we also have some sort of experiences unpleasant, like what? Frustrated, we were feeling lazy, we don't want to do any work and want to full-time sleep in bed, okay? Or feel tied up because we have a limited physical exercises, missing friends because we are all called social animals. Human being is a social animal, and that is the reason we cannot live without meeting, having communication, sharing our views with other people. Okay. Once you finish writing down, then you can just proceed with the videos. And if God permits, we will very soon meet in the school. Now the poet. Before we get into the explanation of the poet, we just view both the tigers. What will you understand from the pictures? One tiger. Where is the tiger? Both the tigers are at different places. One in the cage, the other one is in its natural inhabit. Yeah, that is the home of tiger actually. And you know, when someone is put inside the cage, just like our lockdown, that is the connection I have told you in the first slide, a similar thing. Now this tiger, the poet is trying to talk to us about the tiger in the cage, okay, the mental condition of a caged tiger. And then we will also learn simultaneously the freedom, okay, the natural tiger experiences. It's natural, it is something very natural instinct for everyone, looking for, seeking, or wholeheartedly desiring for a freedom. I have just separated and given you few words so that it will help you to understand captivity, a tiger which is put in the cage, freedom for a tiger which is in its natural inhabitant. See here, what are the words we can use? Confined to cage, whereas the tiger in the zoo enjoys, owns the forest. The tiger in the zoo exhibits sort of fear, while the tiger in the forest is powerful. It's fearless, free, gives a look, terrifying people, terrifying the other animals. Now just look at what the poet actually wants us to do. Okay, this poet is giving a contrast tiger in the zoo with the tiger in its natural habitat. The poet slowly takes the reader from zoo to forest and forest to zoo. So this exercise you will have to do for me. Take your textbook. Again you pause your video. Take your textbook. Read all the 5 stanzas and just mark against the 4 lines the stanzas. Which stanza talks about the tiger in the zoo and which are the stanzas talk about tiger in the forest. Okay, I just want to show you how a tiger in the natural inhabitant looks. Very ferocious. Okay, next we'll proceed with the poem. This is your first stanza. For first stanza, I am going to explain to you A to Z, all the poetic devices. Most of them, almost all the 5 stanzas will have same sort of poetic devices. So I have marked in the first one and the remaining you will have to mark on your own. Before we go to read, just look at the meanings. Stalks, to move quietly and slowly in a threatening way. Vivid, clear, bright. Stripes, long narrow bands. Rage, anger. Using these words, the poet is trying to convey a very important message or the mental status of a tiger. He stalks in his vivid steps, the few steps of his cage, on pads of velvet quiet, in his quiet rage. Okay? The tiger which is in the cage with a beautiful stripes, looking so majestic, taking very few steps in the cage. Why? Because the cage is limited, it cannot expand. And how is the poet telling us? The pads, the sole feet of the tiger compared to a velvet, a soft cushion, okay, in his quiet rage. A rage, is a anger. Rage, the tiger which is inside the cage, feeling helpless and it is very angry. But the quiet, what is quiet? Quiet means, peaceful, humble, silent. Even though the tiger is very angry, it is quiet. Why it is quiet? Because it understands its limitations. Being caged, it is helpless, frustrated. Okay, so this is the meaning of the poem. A beautiful tiger with a beautiful steps, so majestically walking in the cage. It's unable to take a bigger steps. It is able to take very few steps and it is very angry, but then it understood its limitations and it is quiet. Now, mark your rhyme scheme. Rhyme scheme, matching your rhyming words. Stripes marked as A. Cage is not rhyming with your stripes, so you mark it as B. Next word quiet, and quiet also is not matching any of these words, the above 2 words, so you allot a next letter C. Come down to the last line, rage. Rage is matching with your cage. It's rhyming with cage. So whatever you have marked for cage will also be repeated for rage. So your rhyme scheme AB, CB. Understood, children? Yeah, and this is what you will be doing for all the rest of your poems. Either you do it immediately, pause and immediately do, or you do it simultaneously when the poem is being taught. Yeah. Now next I have put in red his, he, Actually, we are talking about a tiger in the poem, not a human being. But the poet is calling the tiger instead of calling it. He is addressing the tiger, he. That means the tiger is given or treated as a human being. So, what is the poetic device? What is the tiger? Yes, tiger is being personified. So you have personification and you have finished with the rhyme scheme. Next you have a metaphor. Can you identify which one is a metaphor? Pads of velvet white. Why it is metaphor? It's because pads are being compared with velvet without making use of the words, comparison words like or as. And that is the reason it is metaphor. Suppose the poet were to take pads like velvet quiet or pads as velvet quiet, then what is the poetic device? Simile. Okay, very good. So you have finished with the metaphor, personification, rhyme scheme. Very good. Next you come to your quiet rage. What is this quiet rage? Two opposite adjectives. When you have two opposite adjectives, what do we call them? Yes. Oxymoron. Yeah, I just given you your poetic devices. You can have this slide in your note. Besides rhyme scheme, personification, metaphor, and then we have also finished with the oxymoron. The remaining ones, imagery. When poet uses certain descriptive words and trying to give us a mental picture, an image, then we call that as a imagery. He is telling us he stalks in his vivid strips so majestically. You can view when you talk this. You can view a tiger so majestically walking in the cage, taking few steps. So you can even imagine not a running or jumping or flying tiger, but taking very few limited steps. And that is the reason we have given us imagery. Then you have enjambment. What is this enjambment? I will show you what is this enjambment. Here in the two lines, if you go to see, he stalks in his vivid strips. There is no punctuation mark at all. The thought continues the few steps of his cage, then only you have a punctuation mark. So when poem is taken continuously, continued to the next lesson, next line without a punctuation, then you call it as a enjambment. Then consonants and assonance. You know, when consonant sound is highlighted, you call it as a consonants. When vowels are highlighted, you will say repeated, you will say assonance. So in the line stalks, hazy stripes, you have yes sound is being highlighted. Assonance, you have I sound is highlighted. I hope you are clear with this literary devices, and I want you to have this in your classwork. Next, I better stop here and we will continue with this next session in the next video. Thank you so much.